Ladies and gentlemen, we got him! Last week, we were introduced to the Proving Grounds Strike, and for a Grandmaster completion, we were rewarded with the Adept version of the Palindrome Handcannon, which is a sought-after handcannon that is a reward for on the weekly rotator for Nightfall Ordeal strikes, and it also just so happened to be Double Rewards Drop Week, which was awesome. That was great. We're like, yes, we can totally farm this hand cannon, and that's awesome. And then we realized just how difficult the task was going to be, as well, this was no easy strike. There were a bunch of cheese methods. People found a way to get kind of out of the map, away from the boss's DPS range, and just basically sit there and do damage from afar. But Bungie did something amazing. They nerfed that glitch method. They nerfed that out of the bounds area. Like they fixed it. They fixed it in record time. It's like, no. We want you to earn this weapon legitimately. In fact, in last week's TWAB, they said as much. It said you're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. So we persevered and we did it. And as a reward for that, we were given the Adept Palindrome. Super sought after hand cannon. Everybody loves this hand cannon. It was a hand cannon from Destiny 1. It was actually one of the most sought after hand cannons in Destiny 1. Everybody wanted a palindrome. Everyone thought that this was an ugly hand cannon, but a good hand cannon, which I myself actually think it's quite pretty. It's really unique. I rather enjoy the way it looks. But all of that to say, when we completed the Grandmaster for the first time last week, we were supposed to be rewarded with this hand cannon guaranteed. I believe. I could be wrong about that, but at least I thought that was the case. I myself did not get the hand cannon on the first run. I actually didn't get it on the second run either. Actually, I finally got one on my third Grandmaster completion last week, and it was a kind of a garbage roll. And so I continued to farm it with my clanmates over and over again until I finally got the PvP roll that I wanted, or at least one that would suffice, a quick draw rangefinder roll. And now that I have it, that's what you're looking at right here. So the roll that I ended up getting came with either fluted barrel or corkscrew rifling, and ricochet rounds were armor-piercing rounds with quick draw and rangefinder and a handling masterwork. Now, all of that to say, the first two perks, they're kind of meh. They could be better. Ricochet rounds is fine. I would prefer high caliber rounds. And I probably would have preferred hammer-forged rifling, but all of that's fine. I got a roll. That's really all I wanted. But being an Adept, you can slot the Adept mods on this hand cannon, and that's really where it excels over some other hand cannons. Personally, I like having the Adept Icarus mod on it, as the Adept Icarus mod grants additional in-air accuracy, plus 5 range, and that's kind of huge. Like just a regular mod. I don't know. Of course there's not just a regular range mod, but the Adept range mod, I believe that grants a plus 10 to range. So really, it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And I don't believe you can get the Adept Icarus if you don't play Trials. I think it's only available there. But if you are fortunate enough to get it, I strongly suggest trying it. And of course, if you can't, then Adept range it is. Like that's really your best option. So now, to go over the base stats for the Palindrome, this is going to be a 140 Adept Void hand cannon. It's going to have an impact of 84 with a range of 55, a stability of 62, a handling of 55, and a reload speed of 48. To go over the hidden stats, it has an aim assistance of 79 with a zoom factor of 14, a recoil of 98, which is going to be pretty vertical. That recoil direction is really one of the things that makes this super good. Like, the aim assistance being 79 is also pretty great on its own. That being said, you just don't need any real extra mods to help this weapon be any more accurate than it is. Of course, you can throw on an Adept hand cannon targeting if you want, but it really doesn't need it, and that's why I kind of said that I would pick the hammer-forged rifling over anything else, as that's just really going to be a little much. You can have the hammer forged rifling and just get the plus to range, and that's really all you need. Now to go over the perks for this weapon, this does come with barrels and magazines, and the barrel options you have fluted barrel, hammer forged rifling, small bore polygonal rifling, corkscrew rifling, arrowhead break, chambered compensator, extended barrel, and full bore. Let's go over the magazines. This has appended mag, extended mag, high caliber rounds, ricochet rounds, armor piercing rounds, alloy mag, flared magwell, and light mag. The first trait column you can get Overflow, Bottomless Grief, Outlaw, Quick Draw, Killing Wind, and Subsistence. And in the second trait column you can get One for All, Thresh, Rampage, Rangefinder, Unrelenting, and finally High Impact Reserves. All of that to say, I know 140s aren't especially meta right now per se, as 120s have dominated for the last 2 seasons now, but we did just find out today in the TWAB that the 120 hand cannons are actually going to get a little range nerf. Actually, the buff that they got back in Beyond Light is going to be about halved. So that's going to make the 140 RPMs just a little bit more forgivable and a little bit more useful against those 120 high impact hand cannons. Just know that for now you will be outgunned at long range, but if you can break the gap and you can get in a little bit closer with it, I think you're actually going to be in great hands. This is a great dueling weapon. It handles really well when it's in its own space, right? Like when it's in its own range. It can 3-tap real easily, and being able to get more rounds downrange a little bit faster is just beneficial. So all of that to say, my PvP god roll would be hammer forged rifling for the solid +10 to range, high caliber rounds for the +5 to range, as well as the additional flinch, quick draw, and rangefinder with a range masterwork. This is going to be the most consistent, most user-friendly version of this hand cannon for PvP. The high caliber rounds and the hammer forged rifling with the range is going to not only help you play at those longer ranges, it's also going to allow you to have the additional flinch. And again, that's very important. I am a huge proponent of flinch whenever it comes to these weapons in the PvP sandbox. Pair that with quick draw and rangefinder to get the additional range, and this is going to be an outstanding option. The roll that I have right now is good enough on its own without any of the additional stuff. Now, moving on to my PvE god roll, I would like it to go with fluted barrel or corkscrew rifling for the boost in stability and handling, appended or extended mag for the increased 2 magazine, overflow, which when paired with one of the aforementioned mag perks can grant you a ridiculous magazine size, and One for All or Rampage, though remember, One for All also grants the ability to slot in additional mods over Rampage specs, so that's just a little bit more user-friendly. And of course, for PvE, you would probably want a reload speed masterwork. And Overflow is just a great perk. For a long time, it was only available on Delirium, and they started adding it to some other weapons, and now it's so good for PvE content that it's really just, it's unfounded. Like, why would you want to use anything else if it is available? So I would go with Overflow and probably One for All over Rampage, just because of what I mentioned before. To get the most out of Rampage, you really need Rampage spec. And with One for All, it already lasts 10 seconds, so you don't really need any additional mods like that, and that allows you to put on either minor spec or the brand new Adept Big One spec, which affects all classes of enemies, I believe. And it's just, all in all, a better option. So, to kind of close a little bit here, I really, really like this hand cannon. I liked it back in D1, I like it now. It's really good, it feels really good, and I'm excited that we have different, like, awesome rewards to chase, you know, like the Adept Swarm, the Adept Shadow Price, and the Adept Palindrome, you know, along with some other weapons, you know, in the game. And there's just so much to do right now that you can get on and you know, farm, well, realistically, any kind of weapon, any point in time. I like that they added the so-called pinnacle rewards for completing the activities, like the Frozen Orbit and the Keening and the Crucible, and then the Trinary System and the bottom dollar for Gambit. Of course, that's not necessarily the most fun thing to do, but really, it's so much fun to be able to get these rewards while doing these activities, and it just makes the game feel all that much more rewarding, and I'm really happy with where it's at right now, and it seems like they're just going to be improving on that. We found out again today that they are adding 2 new Iron Banner weapons, along with 2 returning weapons. I believe one of them was the Finite Impactor, and then the occluded finality, aggressive sniper rifle. I think that's what you called it. But it's just a really good time right now in Destiny 2, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. But that's going to really do it for me, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, follow me on Twitter, and as always, Godspeed, my friends.